Big wave surfing, my favorite to watch. In today's episode, we cover the origins of big wave riding. Welcome to the Wipeout Weekly, the daily podcast for beginners, wannabe surfers, and seasoned wipeout enthusiasts. No hype, no filler, just the highs, lows, and honest truth about learning to surf and finding your place in surf culture. I'm your host, Suze Wilson. Let's go out. I've been all in on big wave surfing since I watched Riding Giants by Stacy Peralta. Just to be clear, watching big wave riding, not partaking. I have zero interest in dying. Considered myself somewhat of an expert. One thing I did get wrong, the start date. If the big waves always existed, surely so must have big wave riding in the ancient Hawaii, under big-ass olos. However, it's said that big wave surfing only began with the invention of a hot curl surfboard, designed by John Kelly, Wally Froyseth, and Fran Heath in the late 1930s. It's a surfboard that allowed them to trim along big waves in a more controlled manner. And then the boys traveled to the north shore of Oahu, discovered Makaha, and the rest is history. Sorry, two things I got wrong. I also assumed that there must be a clear, widely agreed upon demarcation line on what constitutes a big wave versus a regular-sized one. Because to me, a 4-footer is big. Apparently not. It's somewhere between 15 and 18 feet. Is it on the Hawaiian scale? I'm really not into ambiguity. The Eddie Aika competition takes place when waves are at the minimum 20 feet. So I'm going with that. If you ever wondered why you don't see more big wave riding being reported, it doesn't happen that often. And when it happens, it's usually in the winter. That's why competitions like the Eddie and the now-defunct Titans of Mavericks didn't take place every year. But I am digressing. Back to the history. Once Makaha became a big wave thing and a pic of Buzzy Trent, George Downing, and Woody Brown appeared in the press, things kind of snowballed. Surfers from California began traveling to the North Shore on a regular basis, and Sunset Beach and Waimea Bay got discovered, ridden by the likes of the striped shorts-clad Greg Knoll, filmed on celluloid and popularized across the USA and the world. And that lasted until the very late 60s, when Greg Knoll dropped into the 35-foot wave of Makaha. Yes, dropped, not surfed. I do recommend watching Riding Giants for more on that story. Then crickets for more than a decade, until Waimea started pumping big. Then Todos Santos in Baja, Mexico, and Mavericks became big wave surf spots. You can hear more about Mavericks in our pod titled, I Loved How You Almost Died in Mavericks, one of my favorites. In the early 90s, Laird Hamilton, my hero, Buzzy Kerbox, and Derek Durner started dabbling with towing into the big surf using a Zodiac. It's a kind of a pontoon-type watercraft. And tow-in surfing was born, now allowing surfers to tackle much larger waves at 30, 50 feet. Laird started riding piahi, that means jaws, on Maui, and big wave surfing was back big time, with initiatives such as the search for a 100-foot wave, first by Billabong in 2001 and now by HBO with Garth McNamara. More on what to wear and how to survive a big wave wipeout coming soon. But for now, I will leave you with this fact. Despite the reports of a 108-foot wave ridden by Alessandro Slebier at Mavericks, the current official records for the biggest waves ever surfed are Sebastian Stotner, 86 foot, and Maya Gabeira, 73.5 foot. How precise. Both at Nazaré. And that's for another episode too. And that's all for today. Check out the Wipeout Weekly for our free newsletter, more stories and ways to connect with us. Thanks for listening. See you tomorrow for more of the Wipeout Weekly.